Welcome back to the course on cybersecurity. In this video, we'll be discussing more on internet. What basically is internet all about? It is a global system of interconnected computer networks that will have a common protocol. That is, it uses Internet Protocol Suite TCP/IP to communicate between networks and devices. So it is a network of networks that comprises both public, private, academic, government organizations, business, and uh, other local to global scope. So the network carries a vast range of information services and resources so that interlinked hypertext documents and applications on World Wide Web, electronic mail, etc. can be easily accessed. So computers those days were of very large size, and in order to reach out the system, an individual had to travel to the site of the computer or have a magnetic computer tape sent through the postal system. So the new communication protocols were established, called the Transfer Control Protocol, that is in our Internet Protocol, TCP/IP. This allowed different kinds of computers on different networks to talk with each other, exchange information, and data transfer. Most traditional communication media like telephone, radio, television, and newspapers is transformed by the internet, gave rise to the new media like email and other applications. So initially, internet started off in the year 1960 with the packet switching network in the early 1960s. ARPANET is considered as the first known group of interconnected computers, the internet. This system was then used to transfer confidential data between military applications. So this data sharing technology was then opened to educational institutions gradually in US, and access was given to 56 kilobits per second, then 1.5 megabits per second, and gradually to 45 megabits per second. So this evolution started early 1960s, later in 1980s, and 1995, it became fully commercialized. So this is actually expressed, or this is shown in three phases. The history of internet is segmented into three phases, namely the innovation phase, institutionalization phase, and commercialization phase. In the innovation phase, during 1960 to 1974, was the fundamental building block of internet, where packet switching hardware, a communication protocol called TCP/IP, and a client-server computing was carried out and implemented in actual hardware and software. Gradually moved to institutionalization phase, which was between 1975 and 1995. Large institutions such as US Department of Defense and the National Science Foundation provided funding and uh, legitimization for fledgling internet. So full utilization of internet uh, came into market. Later in 1995, commercialization phase. So here the US government encouraged private corporations to take over and expand the internet backbone so that local services beyond military installations and educational institutions were benefited out of it. So this happened across the globe and people got benefited out of it. Internet infrastructure for data transfer and governance comprises of both physical and virtual systems, protocols, regulations that enable secure and efficient, reliable exchange of data across global network. This infrastructure mainly ensured that privacy on data and compliance to the regulations, whatever was provided according to the cyberspace, was taken into account. So this network infrastructure includes a backbone network, which basically is a high-speed, long-distance network that forms the core of the internet, connecting major data centers and internet exchange points. Last mile connectivity, this is actually the connection from service provider to the end user. So the end user is benefited out of the services offered by the service provider. This included both wired and wireless communication technologies. Wired, basically, earlier days it started with DSL connections, later on fiber optic connections, followed with wireless communication, 5G and Wi-Fi technologies. So data centers facilitated the storage and exchange of information. So this infrastructure was helpful in hosting websites, cloud computing, and was very useful for cloud storage of data, which is again very useful right now. There are few protocols and standards that internet basically follows. So this again I've already discussed, so I'm not going to touch more on the protocols. I've just listed out the protocols. The internet protocol, which is very common, that helps in ensuring data packets can be routed across the network. The transport layer security, which is essential by encryption protocol for securing data in transit, and hypertext transfer protocol, that is with security protocols for web data transfers, adding a security layer, and coming up with DNS by adding DNS, a layer of security through digital signatures, DNS security that helps in providing additional security through digital signatures. And there are a lot more of cloud services offering data centers like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud offers robust infrastructure and tools for data storage and processing. So coming up with the data governance and regulations based on the data that is kept stored in the uh, cloud space, data privacy regulations are coming up, and those regulation compliance with the laws like GDPR, that is basically in Europe, CCPA in California, and HIPAA, HIPAA for healthcare data. So data retention policies, those are guidelines for storing and managing data for a specific period of time over the cloud services. Data access control, not everyone has the access for the data that is stored on the cloud. So system has its own restrictions. It monitors who actually can access and modify the data available on cloud. So to provide a better service, data encryption standards are strictly followed, ensuring data is at rest and transit is properly encrypted and protected against unauthorized access. So with this, I'm wrapping up this video. I will get back in the next video. Thank you.